The rap genre has a lot of negative thoughts and feelings thrown towards it, and because of this, all rappers are looked in a negative kind of way. While that's not true for a lot of people in the genre, a lot of the new generation in the game right now aren't helping things by getting arrested, getting into fights, and even throwing more shade on the genre. Some of these people are out of control. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to King Trending to never miss a video. Number 6. Lil Pump.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
While there's no doubt that Lil Pump had a positive year in terms of his music and success, having some of the biggest releases and collaborations, including some songs with rappers like Kanye West,
Sparkling or still. Are you trying to act like you was drinking sparkling water before you came out here?
and the late X.
Yeah, she got my heart racing, racing.
There's also been a lot of things being done outside of the music world that proves that he's not doing all the right things. A perfect example is that he was arrested in Denmark not so long ago. Why? Well, first off, he had a substance that is illegal in that country. That alone is a minor offense, which you might have been able to pay off as him not knowing the country's laws, but then he decided to use his phone to do an Instagram stream. And through that stream, he decided to go and insult the cops while they weren't paying much attention to him, while they were discussing the arrest they had just made. Guess what? They noticed. They also noticed him flipping them off, which led him to getting arrested for a different crime this time. That's 2 arrests in the course of a couple minutes, if you're paying attention. Taking into account all that he was charged with, he actually got off light. Initially, he was made to pay an $800 fine for the possession charge and wasn't detained for long because of the offense against the officers. However, according to sources, because of these 2 combined incidents, Lil Pump isn't allowed to go back to Denmark for the next 2 years. That's right, he's been banned from Denmark. You might think that's the extent of his crimes this year, but that's just not it. Earlier in 2018, he fired a weapon in his apartment. His manager made a statement that someone had tried to rob his family's home, and when they did, Lil Pump shot at him. This would be textbook self-defense. But things didn't add up to the officers that showed up to the scene to investigate, especially since that it wasn't his weapon, but rather the family's, and they were investigated for having a weapon so open to those who might need it. He also didn't call the cops. The cops were called on him, and the weapon was hidden from sight when they arrived. So they found it after they searched the place. Oh, still not done yet. Later that year, Lil Pump was arrested again for this time driving without a license, and he was sent to jail for a month. It was supposed to be a few months, but something clearly happened that led to his early release. What this all truly adds up to is a series of crimes that don't appear to be stopping anytime soon. Lil Pump was already controversial for some of his songs that he sings, but if he doesn't get a grip soon, this spiral will cost him. Number 5. Cardi B.
Gonna do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B.
Bet you never expected to see her on this list, huh? But the fact of the matter is, when you talk about people who aren't in control, you most definitely have to talk about Cardi B. After all, this is a woman who was never afraid to flash someone, making an Instagram video with her talking about serious issues while not wearing any clothes, and most importantly of all, not afraid to press someone and slander them out of this life. After all, this is partly how Cardi B got her fame. Social media, everyone. Social media. But why is she out of control right now? Well, it all has to do with her current state of affairs, or should I say state of marriage, because a while ago, she went onto Instagram and noted that she was going to be separating from her husband, Offset, of the Migos, and while that is perfectly within her rights, everything that has happened since then has been very odd. Offset has made attempts to get Cardi back, including crashing one of her biggest performances at the Rolling Loud to try and win her back.
I love you.
Now, that's not on her, but her repeatedly saying that she doesn't think she'll get back together with him, only to be caught in Puerto Rico with him, only to deny what really happened, and say that she was there because she wanted to sleep with him, that's out of control. In fact, it's spiraling so fast that many people think that this separation is actually a hoax, which wouldn't be that far out of character for Cardi B, ironically enough. And I noticed that I didn't even mention some of her antics both on camera and on stage and in her songs. Yeah, because that pretty much speaks for itself. So let's move on. Number 4, Young Thug. Young Thug, aka Jeffrey Lamar Williams, is definitely one of the youngest rappers in this game. After all, he's only a little over 27 years of age. But that didn't stop him from getting fame through his music. He started slow, doing tracks with Rich Homie Quan, Birdman, Cash Out, Shawty Lo, and Gucci Mane. And then by the time he signed with 1017 Records, he started to grow even more into his popularity, which was cemented with his first major album / mixtape in 2013. Since then, he's slowly grown into his style and fame. And you think that would be enough to keep him out of trouble? It's not. Starting with the smaller deals, he refused to show up to various concerts where he was contractually obligated to attend, and thus he had numerous lawsuits filed against him. He's also been charged with assaulting people, having possession of illegal substances, and much more. But the kicker came in August of 2018, where he was arrested at his own house during his own birthday party because the police found a firearm in his car, presumably one that didn't have a license to carry. Finally, not a month later, he was then charged with more possession charges and charges to distribute, which is actually far worse than having the items on you. His future is very much out of his hands right now, and it's not looking bright. Number 3, MGK.
Rock God, hit him up like Pac. Let's just keep it G.
If we're going to talk about irony, we definitely need to talk about MGK. For this is a guy who's been doing it for some time now, and arguably you could say that 2018 is his best year ever. And yet he's also a guy who's been falling apart because of the fame he's gotten due to a certain feud. Allow me to explain. You see, everything really kicked off when Eminem, a guy who is definitely not out of control, came back out with a surprise album, Kamikaze.
Don't have any manners. You got a couple of ghostwriters, but to these kids it don't actually matter.
And in it, he took shots at just about anyone he thought was a poser, fake artist, or mumble rapper. Guess who fits in that criteria? Exactly, MGK. Not to mention, Kelly had said some inappropriate things about 6 years ago about Eminem's daughter, which Slim Shady did not forget. However, instead of falling to pieces, MGK fought back against the diss in Kamikaze and made Rap Devil a diss track aimed solely at Eminem.
Shovel like the Armageddon when the smoke settle, his body next to this instrumental, I'm saying.
And many felt that this was his best song ever, and it got him an insane amount of views. But then Eminem bounced back with a solo track, Kill Shot, that destroyed MGK so much that Kelly ended the feud right there. Even though he claimed he had a response ready to go, yeah, sure. But what proves he's going out of control is that not long after Rap Devil and Kill Shot came out, he made a song called Lately. It wasn't a diss track or a hate track, it was actually more of a self-reflection track, where he noted that his life was pretty dark and that he needed to get out of this funk that he was in. That's usually not a good sign. And yet, despite his reflection, MGK made sure to end 2018 his way by posting a snippet of Rap Devil and cussing out Eminem and anyone who supported him. So yeah, Kelly needs to get a grip on what's going on right now. Number 2, Lil Uzi Vert.
She said, baby, I am not afraid to die.
In terms of controversial young rappers, it's hard to top Lil Uzi Vert, for not only is he very explicit in some of his tracks, but some of his inspirations are very controversial. For he's been called out for being a Satanist, which he himself does not technically deny. This has raised many flags with the public, especially when he started to show via pictures and markings on his social media accounts. But his spiral is just much more than just his beliefs. It's also his attitude towards his fans and the music community at large. He has a lawsuit against him for skipping out on a concert in Texas and has been required by law to show up in court. But after missing several appearances, the judge has now fined him $30,000 for not appearing. What's more, though he's been teasing his next album, Eternal Take, for some time now, he's no closer to releasing it by his own admission. He even went on to Instagram to say, "You've been waiting for a long time now. Why not wait a little longer?" Which is a big tease. So while he's one of the more popular young rappers around, he's got a lot of issues to deal with. Number 1, 6ix9ine.
Said he won't smoke, I don't really see it though.
The irony of 6ix9ine being at the top of this list is more of a cautionary tale about what happens when you spiral out of control and can't stop before it's too late. For right now, 6ix9ine is in jail on charges that could end him up in prison for life possibly, and that really is the ultimate punishment. But that begs the question, how did he go from one of the top rappers of 2017/2018 to a guy who may never rap again? Well, sadly, 6ix9ine has always had issues with the law. In fact, when he was younger, he did some very questionable things in order to get his rap cred up, including an incident involving the exposure of a minor. While he wasn't officially charged with the crime, he did have to go and do certain things in order to turn his life around. Needless to say, he didn't do that. In fact, he actually went and doubled down on his antics. He hurt a fan, assaulted a police officer in a very odd incident, and if he himself wasn't doing anything wrong, his crew was, apparently on his order. Tekashi spent both of 2017 and 2018 in and out of courthouses, seemingly dodging bullets, in the figurative sense, in regards to the charges that he faced. A bunch of technicalities and changed hearts led him to not being officially charged. That was until in November 2018, just days before he was set to release a new album, 6ix9ine got arrested and he couldn't skate away from this one. He was charged with conspiracy, possession, RICO charges, and much more, several of which have a minimum charge of life in prison. prison. Whether he actually gets charged with those is a bit up for debate, to be honest, but it is an option. What might be the saddest part about all of this is that 6ix9ine doesn't seem fazed by it at all, by all this happening. Rather, he's playing it off like he's fine. He even somehow found a way to buy and send a $25,000 gift to his girlfriend while he was in prison. He won't be laughing though if he does indeed get charged with some of these felonies, and while it's unlikely, hopefully his sentencing will be a message to all rappers. You can try to get away from the crimes you commit, but they will always come back around. Thanks for watching. Can you believe how far some of these rappers are falling? Do you think some of them will end up in jail for good or lose their careers because of what they're doing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Hey, just a reminder that we're changing up the giveaways. From now on, we're offering the Galaxy Note 9, the one that comes with the exclusive Fortnite skin, the new iPhone X Max, which we'll pre-order for you, and the new Apple Watch Series 4, which we'll also pre-order for you. The winner gets to decide between these three. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, drop a like, and comment the hidden message in the video for a chance to win. You got nothing to lose. Go for it.